After a billion-dollar hailstorm hits an area, your focus should be on running your business, not on insurance claims. We have helped streamline the insurance process for hundreds of roofing contractors across the U.S., and we can do it for yours too. Visit us online at c3adjusters.com and learn how we can help you save time and get claims paid faster.
Hi guys, just double checking, make sure I got my audio going here. I do, good. Don't want the mic to be off for this one. We're here for the 2019 hail forecast. We posted this video on Monday. We were at the International Roofing Expo, and it appeared that the video might have gotten kind of lost in the fray of everything. So I figured today is the best day of any. There's no chance for hail today or anywhere through this weekend in the next 5 days, so perfect time to do an in-depth talk about the 2019 hail forecast. It's not going to be the full video like what I did on Monday. You can go check that out. I have a link in the description below. I got a shout out to Merlin Law and C3 Group. Both our usual daily sponsors, but they're not really on the cover here. So check out their pages in the description below. Of course, the commercial for C3 beforehand. And special shout out to Catch All. You guys are going to be seeing them all over this forecast. They were our main sponsors for the forecast tour, especially if you missed out on any of that. So before we get into any of that, I want to say thanks for coming by at the IRE. I was there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is the whole team that we had here. It was great meeting everybody. I know I don't get out to travel too much, seeing I'm here at the office quite a bit doing these forecasts and mapping storms and all that lovely stuff for you guys. So it was really nice to get some names to faces and talking to a lot of potentially new folks and everything of the such. So we have more events coming up. It's not the only one. I'm not going to any of them. However, Derek, Brandon, and Matt are going to be heading towards Las Vegas next week for Win the Storm Vegas from the 21st to the 23rd. We're booth number 611. We're sharing that with C3 Group, just like we did at the International Roofing Expo, and also the SRC Storm Restoration Summit. That's going to be from March 3rd to March 5th. We're platinum sponsors in that. You'll be able to check out, I believe, at least Derek at that one as well. Cool. Volume's great. Thanks, David. All right, guys. So, review of 2018. So, again, we're not going to go really into the weeds. This is going to be kind of the too long didn't read version before we get into the actual forecast. The forecast itself is going to be completely the same. It's going to be a full version, but all the stuff leading up to it, I kind of abridged it a little bit, not make it crazy long. So overall, 2018 was a pretty quiet year. We had 6,456 hail reports. That puts us in the quietest year since 2014. There was no individual day that had over 200 hail reports, while 2017 had 6. So that really kind of stings. Unfortunately, 2017 being very active made a pretty quiet 2018 hurt even more, because all you can remember was last year. And then Colorado, though, they had a fantastic year. The only state in the union that had a great year. Major storms all around. The only area in the continental U.S. that had that. The really long winter that I'm sure all of you remember now from 2018 really hurt our season. It was a very late starting season. April was pretty abysmal. It was near record lows. So that really kind of hurt quite a bit of stuff. Overall, the general numbers, I know I just blasted you guys a bunch of numbers here. The basic ones to look at is a year total compared to 2017, which was the third highest since 2000 with 8,590 versus 6,456. A much busier early season with very few hail reports in January and February last year versus record amounts, especially in February of 2017. And then the other one to note is March and April, where we each had under 500 in March, under 550 in April, versus well over 1,000 in both of those. And then we kind of tried to catch up a little bit in the later season here, but a lot of that was rural as well, as you can notice with the amount of big hail days and 4- and 5-star maps. We had none, only had 3 over 150, and none over 200 versus the 1 over 300 in 2017, 6 over 200, 11 over 150, and we had 15 that were over 100 in total. So we had more hail days that had 100 or more reports compared to everything we had last year. 2018, we only made 8 5-star maps, 4 of which happened in Colorado, 11 4-star maps, and 49 3-star maps. You add all those numbers up together, and that comes out to a lower number than the 3-star maps that we had in 2017. So again, you had a decent amount of hail in May, June, and July, but there really wasn't a lot that got hit if you weren't in Colorado or specifically parts of the Dallas Metroplex. So, how did that line up to our 2018 hail forecast? Well, I'm first to admit my mistakes, and we had a big swing and a miss in 2018. I'm sure most of you folks who watch us pretty regularly know that. Compared to 2017, I said it was going to be late starting. I was kind of right about that. I thought it was going to start early April. It started in May. And the season be more balanced, which is not at all the case. Focus was not there, and overall it was not above average. It was very quiet. Our bold predictions that we had, no high risk didn't happen. We didn't have a major hailstorm outside of Dallas on the I-35 corridor. And all of my cities I thought were going to get a big hailstorm did not. And those weren't guarantees. They were bold predictions, and they were bold and incorrect. So what went wrong? How did we screw the pooch so bad? We nailed it in 2017 and 2016, so why did we screw up really bad here? Thing called sun stratospheric warming, which if you watch us pretty regularly, you probably saw we did a whole video about halfway through the spring last year talking about this, trying to course correct a little bit. And basically it caused winter to last well into spring, and they were kind of hard to forecast. They happened well after we made the forecast. The forecast came out mid-January last year. Sun stratospheric warming didn't even start until early February, so we were off to the races at that point. Our forecast was out and done, and then a major change came into play, and lo and behold, there goes our forecast season. Polar vortex finally moved away at the end of April. We had about a week period in that first week of May where it looked like spring, and then it was summer. The jet stream, which provides most of our big time weather, went up to Canada and didn't come back. So unfortunately, that was a worst case scenario for our forecast. The sun stratosphere warming, again, very hard to predict. You only can kind of predict them out a couple days out. And then on top of that, winter was brutal. So that really killed most of our season. So where are we at currently? Jumping straight ahead to what's happening right now. We're in neutral. This just changed yesterday. We are now in a weak El Nino pattern. That's going to be persistent to the spring. We had what's called a Modoki El Nino. So it's a central based El Nino versus up against the coast of South America, and this has already passed. All that cold air that's been streaming in, so we're getting the aftermath of the sun stratospheric warming in February, which is good. All February, it can be cold. It's winter time, no big deal. Yeah, you get hail sometimes, but if you're gonna pick a month to completely waste it, any hail potential, I would pick February, middle of the winter. And finally, all important ocean oscillations, things I don't want to bore you guys with. That, all fairly neutral phases, nothing too big of a deal to talk about. So, with that, if I can actually get it to go. Hang on, guys. Oh, God. There we go. What are we expecting in 2019? Drum roll, please. Speaking how most of you guys, there's probably a good chunk of you guys that saw our 2019 hail forecast at one of our events, or might have watched a video on Monday. But here it is anyway. For those of you who missed it, and you're welcome to ask any questions here, we'll answer them after I burn through all of this. 2019 is going to be another year. It starts off with a slow start, quiet March, probably the first half of March. Don't come at me with pitchforks and axes. Don't worry, things are going to pick up once we get into April. I think April is going to be very active. I think it will not be like 2018 at all. I think things will really start kicking into gear. Right now, I'd say a good divider for the month of March is going to be St. Patrick's Day, so that's right around the middle. Before St. Patrick's Day, probably pretty quiet. Maybe one or two events, pretty quiet. Afterwards, somewhere between the 17th and the 31st, I think we're going to really start to pick up, and then we're going to see quite a bit of activity going into April. I think the plains look particularly good this year, so especially southern plains, maybe parts of the southeast, but for the most part, the plains may redeem that horrible season last year and have a bit more activity and probably quite a few more tornadoes with that. And finally, overall 2019, I think it's going to be near average. I think we're going to be around an average year for the United States after a fairly slow start, like right now, pretty dead. But I think we'll really kick things into gear, so right around average for the whole United States. So how are we going to break that down to regions? Well, first, what are the probabilities last year? I had about a 5% chance of a below average season, and that ended up being the case. We were saying 30% for below average. I think, again, 65% were fairly confident right around that average number. And then the above average season, I'm keeping at 5%. We'll see if that actually, can we swing and hit again with the really low probability? Who knows? We'll just kind of have to see how things play out. We're going to try to do stuff more regularly as well. So I'm going to go move to the other side of the map here. I know this is the part you guys like to screenshot and check out and everything. This is the big kahuna map we got here. So this is for February through June. I'm going to start in the southeast and work my way in the big circle. We have here near average activity across the southeast. So that includes parts of Houston all the way to the east coast. Southeast, near average activity. There'll be probably a handful of events, but I don't think it's going to be anything wilding out like how we had in 2011 or anything. I think it'll be more an average year. You're going to get your events fairly early in the season and wind down by June. Well below average for the Northeast. I think it's bad news bears. Remember, from Virginia's point north, all of the analog years we look at, everything that kind of looks like this here had very, very quiet numbers comparatively to average for these states in the Northeast. So not to say that there couldn't be some crazy event. 2014 was really quiet, but Reading, Pennsylvania got annihilated. So that one storm can always make a big difference, which leads to a pretty good transition here of hitting the Great Lakes. Below average, I know, here in the grounds, unfortunately. But I've been telling people this, I was telling people this at the IRE, that you could have a below average year for this region, but Illinois could be above average. Ohio could be above average, but Illinois doesn't get anything. It's a region of multiple states, and you're going to get the average of that, and that will go to the average of everything else. So 2017 was quiet for Colorado, but Denver had their biggest storm of all time. Same story could happen for Chicago or Minneapolis. You can get one of those areas to get blasted, and at the end of the day, you don't care how average it is because you get a huge storm. Average activity, and that's going to kind of bump right up to near Minneapolis. You're in that area. Same with St. Louis and Minneapolis. You're like right on that fringe of between average and below average. So you might have just less chances of getting a big event. So that's really what you want to see with all these averages is how many times are you going to be seeing activity, increasing those chances of getting a big hailstorm. Typical activity across the Front Range, they are, as they proved in 2018, fairly immune to any kind of crazy activity or any shenanigans that Mother Nature throws. You're going to get activity no matter what because you have a big old mountain range right there and you just need the wind to blow the right way and you'll get some hail. And that leaves most active here across the southern and central plains. Again, I think they have the best chance of everything setting up to be favorable for this area to get hit with big time hail. Multiple times. We have a drought here in the Four Corners region, so that's going to provide enough dry air to keep a cap on the atmosphere for those big storm events so we can have more isolated activity. You're going to have the subtropical jet stream, which provides a lot of the moisture across this area and provides a lot of the trigger for big time storms. That is going to be streaming through here thanks to that Modoki El Nino we're in, and that's really going to trigger probably quite a few events. Places like Kansas, good chunk of Missouri, all of Oklahoma, most of Texas, and even to Arkansas. You're probably going to see quite a bit of hail potential starting in March and moving through a good chunk of the season. So we're breaking this down month by month. This is something we're doing for the first time this year, and hopefully every month we will try to give you guys an updated version of these maps to just once we get a little closer to each individual event, we can look ahead and pinpoint it and try to zero it in a little bit more for you guys. But right now, February, if you haven't figured it out, it's cold, snowy, void of any real hail, except for maybe right along the coast and apparently across Dallas. We had that one decent storm a little bit earlier, a couple weeks ago. So not too much to talk about in February. March, things begin. We're pushing the cold, the winter. Yeah, it's still holding on March for quite a bit of folks across the United States, but that's pretty normal. Most activity, though, I think once you get east of I-35 all the way to Dixie Alley, you're going to probably see a few events occur, most of the activity, and then the rest of the activity starting around mid-month. So, other parts of Texas, across all the way to the East Coast. This is typical storm season time for a good chunk of the Southeast. So March, I believe the most active, though, will be focused here in like Arkansas, Louisiana, eastern Texas, eastern Oklahoma, and into Dixie Alley, Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. Going into your April, this is going to be probably the meat and potatoes of the season for quite a few people, except for places north of I-70 likely, and in the Northeast. I think we're going to be near average activity all the way up potentially towards Chicago. This is going to be more towards the end of the month likely, wrapping around the East Coast. And the most activity will be, again, a good chunk of the Southeast and across the plains. I think we're going to see multiple systems push through, give us that good severe weather chances for the month of April. Wouldn't be surprised to see a couple more major events happen this year. May, your typical storm season month. Things are going to start winding down in the Southeast. That's fairly normal. For the Southeast, May, things wind down, especially the further in May you get across places like Atlanta and the Carolinas. We're going to be well below average across the Northeast. Again, I think things are going to be real quiet. Near average for the month of May in this general area for Tennessee Valley up through the Great Lakes. Below average, I think it's going to be a slow start up in the northern plains in May. Average activity, yep, the front range turns on in May and does its thing. And most activity is going to be in classic Tornado Alley, it looks like. I think Great Plains are going to see quite a bit of activity. I think the dry line especially might be a little further to the west because there is no drought east of the Rocky Mountains right now. So places like Amarillo could see some decent hail, but places like Oklahoma City as well. Finally, for the month of June, we're going to say activity starts winding down again. This is pretty normal across Texas and Oklahoma. Things really start winding down. You're only going to see maybe that rare, weird overnight June event that Carrollton, Texas had this past year. Otherwise, things are quiet, below average across a good chunk of the United States from the Great Lakes all the way to the East Coast. Average activity again across the Front Range. May and June is typically when the Denver area likes to see all its hail. And most activity is going to shift from the central plains to central and northern plains. And that's what we're expecting up through the month of June. So that's what we had for everything. I got a little explanation of what most active is. I kind of talked about it in the maps here. And we're talking about most active for this year. We mean location with the highest likelihood of storms. So where is, again, most activity going to be? Your best chance of seeing a big-time hailstorm. Because the more chances you get, the higher your shot is. And finally, most active region, the best chance, again, for the year/month that they are highlighted in. So those bold predictions we got going on. I'm shooting again, see if we get them right. 2019 will feature at least $1 billion hailstorm in the United States. It's a kind of bold prediction. 2018 had a couple. There were a couple days in the Colorado Front Range where all of the storms put together equaled about $1 billion in damage. Carrollton, Texas was a $1 billion storm. So I think we'll probably crack at least another one, but more bold with saying it's not going to be in Dallas. I think that would be a more bold prediction. I think the I-35 corridor is exactly the same I had last year. I'm putting it in again. I think I-35 corridor, so that's anywhere from Minneapolis all the way down to the Texas-Mexico border, will have a major hailstorm other than the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Because if I just said that without that in there, if Dallas gets a hailstorm, which they probably will, that would make it not that bold of a prediction. And there's my cities: Oklahoma City, Kansas City, and/or Chicago. Big hail event this spring, third time's a charm, right? Well, I'm just going to erase Oklahoma City out of there. I'm going to put Dallas in instead. I'm not going to be the one that people are going to get mad at this time around for jinxing Oklahoma City. We've said it the past couple of years in a row. It hasn't seemed to happen. Maybe we take it off the list. Maybe that'll improve our luck a little bit here. It can't hurt to be at least a little superstitious. At least a little stitious. Not guarantees, again, they're bold predictions. They are not, these aren't as well researched. They're more kind of what we think is going to happen based on analogs, something that jumps out at us. But it's the weather, weird stuff happens. And of course, I have the little gift saying it's bold strategy, Cotton. See how that works out for you. So before I move on to anything else, that's through my forecast. That's everything we got for 2019. See if anybody has any questions in here. Feel to shoot them out. Let me know. I'm going to try to answer them. Okay. We had Alan saying basket hail. No basketball size hail. All right. Let's see. Wichita, Kansas. Jake, I think you are going to be in, Wichita is going to be in one of the most active regions. I can jump, you know what, guys, I'll jump right all the way back to the year-round looking map. I feel like that's probably a good call for you guys. There we go. So I think Wichita, much like Oklahoma City, much like Dallas, quite a few chances, especially in April and in May. I think might lean more towards April for your bigger events. Dry line will probably set up pretty close I-35 for quite a few events. So get those chances increased. I think you could see a much better chance of seeing a big-time hailstorm. You're on I-35. You're part of my prediction of the I-35 corridor. So that includes Kansas City, Wichita, obviously Oklahoma City, Dallas, all the way down to Austin, San Antonio. You're in there too. Up through, I believe, Des Moines is where I-35 goes through, and then up through Minneapolis and Duluth, I guess. I don't think Duluth will see a 5-star map, but overall, I think we'll see more 5-star maps than we did last year. We had very few in 2018. So I don't think I have there we go. Got the chat back on for you guys. Oh, geez. Okay. Bunch of them. All right. Chicago was a dud last year, 2019. Sass Ray. Looks like we could have a better year. Now, obviously, Chicago has Lake Michigan to kind of screw things up every once in a while. I know it says below average on here, but all it takes is one storm. We're going to see events happen. It's just you might have less shots at it than, say, Dallas or Oklahoma City or probably even like Birmingham, honestly. So we got to kind of roll the dice, hope we can get something better. Last year was so truly abysmal that anything will be better this year for the the Chicago area. Sorry, guys. Kind of a hell trace asked Brad Pickens. Possibly. I know I messaged Derek about that. I know we're going to order more hats. A lot of you guys want some, so we'll get some hats out to you folks. Southern Missouri. Whereabouts Southern Missouri? You're talking Joplin? You're talking towards Cape Girardeau? I think looks like for Southern Missouri, I would most likely put you in most active. The hardest thing to predict for Southern Missouri is much like Eastern Oklahoma, like Tulsa, where you're going to have your storms forming in Western Oklahoma, Western Central Texas, Kansas, Western Central Oklahoma, and they might turn to a squall line as you get a little bit later into the evening as all the storms form and kind of congeal. So you got to hope for an event that pushes a little further to the east, like either a slow-moving event. Okay, Branson, yeah. So either a slow-moving event where you get the storms to form like right along the border of Kansas and Missouri and move to the east, or just like a fast-moving event. So I think overall for Missouri, I think you're going to be pretty active. There's going to be a lot of systems that are going to move through here. So Missouri is in a very unique zone where you can get that first day of storms. You could get some activity, but you're also in it on that second day when the stuff moves to the east. So teach us how to read and understand the models. I can probably try to do some stuff like that. We've been flirting around with some other video ideas for you guys. So I can try to do some basic weather stuff to help you guys, know just enough to be dangerous is what we always like to say. So, but overall, I think Missouri, you're going to be active. You're going to be in one of the most active areas. It's just going to be kind of hit or miss on whether or not you're going to be seeing isolated storms or you're going to be seeing squall lines. If you grew up in Missouri, you probably know how it rolls. Hopefully, Kansas City, Branson, Joplin, St. Louis, you all get a big storm. But I would lean more towards the further to the east you are in Missouri, the better shot you're going to have. Okay. Zach. Okay. Shane Douglas, you're asking, what do you think about Birmingham, Alabama? Well, if you watched our video, I said Birmingham's my guess for a first 5-star map. I think you're going to start seeing activity second half of March. Probably get some storms to move through. I wouldn't be surprised we have a couple more major Dixie Alley events happen in March and April. So I would expect kind of like last year. You guys had real close to having a pretty blockbuster hailstorm last year. So I would expect more activity like that. So like March 19th last year, I would say maybe a few more of those this year in comparison to last year. Zach asks, since Kentucky's below average for hail forecast, do you think that means our current raining pattern continues? Yeah, kind of. Unfortunately, things have been pretty wet across a good chunk of the United States, and as of right now, that pattern does not look like to be slowing down too much, which is good for severe weather potential And obviously nobody wants a crazy drought, but we have been very wet across quite a few areas. How late do you think Nebraska/Iowa will start? May/June, asks Eric. I think probably May. Pretty typical for you guys. I won't be surprised that first week of May or so we get a really good moisture return event and get all the way up into towards Omaha and Des Moines and probably further west towards Grand Island. But usual, you're going to be second half of May, well into June, into July is what you're going to be seeing. Best shot, probably May into early first half of June. Looks like Texas is a hot spot for this year, along with Kansas, yes. Everywhere most active, I think you're going to see quite a bit of activity here. God bless Texas again. Okay. All right. Anybody have any other questions? Or there had a potential door knocker there. That's funny. All right, guys. So again, if you're watching this not live, you can put the questions in the comment section below. We will answer them. I'll be trying to keep an eye on it through the rest of today and into tomorrow. Or wait, no, tomorrow's Saturday. So rest of today, and I'll check in on again on Monday. I'll try to answer them in the comment section below for anything you guys want to see, and just jumping through what we're expecting month by month again, since I got to go through all this just to get to the end of my slideshow. Again, if anybody's in the Denver area, don't expect as crazy of a year as last year. That was crazy. You're going to be more in the realm of reality. You're not going to be getting you're not getting 50% of the 5-star maps this year. I'll just put it that way. I think the 5-star maps are going to be more plentiful, probably more than 8, and I think they're going to be more spread out than just all focused on like one section of the country. What is timing for Kansas this year? I think April. You'll most likely see activity begin in April across the state of Kansas. And thank you, Garrett, for jumping in here. Be sure to share this video, guys, to get this all out there. I know, again, we have the full video version of this, where it was pre-recorded about a week ago. But unfortunately, I think the Facebook algorithm made it get kind of lost in the fray of everything else. So, I'll make sure we get that out to folks so you can see it. Which, one last thing for people to leave, our new website and our app. If you'd come from Matt's webinar, you probably saw what we have in store with our new website and our new app. A lot of exciting stuff. It's live now technically, but not really. We had a little bit too much traffic this morning, so it'll be live later on. I think after the end of the workday, by this evening, it'll be completely live and ready to roll. The beta is still going at the moment. Again, we had a couple hiccups. The servers weren't being very serving friendly, I guess. So it'll be live later on this evening. So if you're watching this on Friday, the 15th, it'll be live later today. If you're watching this after the fact, you're watching it on Saturday, it's live now. Go check out hailtrace.com and check out our app, where yes, you got radius searches, which is exciting, and a whole bunch of cool stuff going on. And make sure you don't miss any of our updates. Follow us here on Facebook. Oh, I know most of you guys watch us on Facebook. You're watching us on Periscope or YouTube or even on our website, which probably not, because the website's having some issues today. Go out, follow us on Facebook, hit see first, hit follow us. Everything comes at the top of your newsfeed, so you don't miss anything, especially when things are exciting. We got live continuing coverage. We got videos every single day. We have posts from trade shows we're at and everything. Don't want to miss it. You want more information, you want to see how you're going to maximize your 2019, you can give us a call, email us, or visit our website at hailtrace.com. Follow us on Instagram. We've been getting more and more active on Instagram with every little thing I figure out on Instagram. So give us a follow there. We're hoping to have some cool behind-the-scenes stuff on there. Shout-outs to sponsors and friends of ours. And storm chasing especially, I think, will be pretty exciting on our Instagram page. So all that out there, give us a call. And we'd love to hear from all you guys. So with that, I think I'm going to wrap things up. See if we have any other stuff going on. Come on, Indiana. Yeah. Hopefully, Jason. Hopefully, Indiana get in there. So again, watching this after the fact, if you have some questions, put it in the comment section below. We'll try to answer that for you guys, whether it's today or maybe on Monday when I can try to look through and answer things as in depth as possible. We're going to try to do an update every month, just kind of the state of the season and what we're expecting for that month. So more exciting stuff for you guys. I know you guys like seeing the more long-range forecasts along with the daily stuff. We have other content that we want to get out to you guys, maybe kind of teach you how to do some weather stuff or whatever it is. You can put that in the comments section below as well, whatever things you want us to see us do content on. Shout out to Merlin Law Group, C3 Group, and of course the Catch-All, especially the Catch-All. They were a main sponsor for this whole tour, whole forecast event. Thank them so much. They're nice guys. I got to meet them both in the Oklahoma City event and at the International Roofing Expo. And of course, C3 Group and Merlin Law are great as well. They're just our regular sponsors. So I'll talk to you guys again on Monday. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of something to look forward to. Maybe. I don't know. It's pretty quiet the next few days, so I can't lie about that. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you again on Monday, and you can see Derek, Matt, and Brandon at Win the Storm at the second half of next week. I'll talk to you guys on Monday.